My 26M boyfriend is rushing me, 18F, into marriage and I don't know what to do. I'm sorry if this is all over the place, it's my first time doing this. Also excuse my grammar, English is not my first language. I met my boyfriend online and we started a long-distance relationship after knowing each other for 8 months. Our relationship has been a roller coaster. He's my first relationship and first everything a couple goes through, so I don't have much knowledge on how some things work. After dating approximately for 2 years, he wants me to go visit him and go live with him for a couple months so we can see how it would be living together. I'm not from the US, and me going there is restricted since I need to get a visa. He's been pushing me to get everything done so I can go as soon as possible. I'm scared. I've never been out of my country alone, or living with someone other than my parents. I haven't mentioned that we haven't even met IRL yet, so that would be our first time. A lot of my friends have been trying to convince me to leave him, saying he could be a murderer and that I still don't know his true intentions. Should I tell him we're going too fast? Am I being dramatic? I'm lost. If anyone has ever been through something like this, please tell me what I should do. Any advice would be amazing. Thank you for reading. If you do this, you're either about to be trafficked, abused, or murdered, or some combination of the three. No sane adult would date a child and pressure them into marriage as soon as they legally could. Block this person and never talk to them again. The person you think you're in love with does not exist. It's all been a ruse and a lie. You are being groomed. A man his age dating you at the age you were at is disgusting. Trust me, there is a big red flag reason a man his age is picking up teenagers on the internet and not dating women his own age. Do not go to the US for him. Do not put yourself in a position where he's the only support you have. He met you at 15 when he was 23 and started dating you at 16 when he was 24? What could a grown man possibly have in common with a high schooler? Your boyfriend is a creep and a pedophile. Imagine you met an 11-year-old and started dating them when they turned 12. That's what your boyfriend did. ETA. I finished reading the rest of the post and WTF. Please do not be stupid. You've never met in real life but want to leave everything behind for him? This is how you end up being trafficked. Do your parents know about this man and his plan? This sounds more like sex trafficking than love. You have to wonder why a grown man is courting children in foreign countries. Are you even sure he's only 26? It will be very easy for him to take your passport when you arrive, and depending on where he lives, it might be impossible to get to an airport or even afford a ticket if you need to get home. Do you know how to drive? Will you have access to a car? At your age you can't rent one, and who knows if there are taxis or public transportation where he lives. How far away will your country's embassy be? Do not do this. Do try to be realistic here. You were 16 when this grown adult targeted you online, and there's absolutely no way it's safe for you to travel to see him on your own. But at 18, unless you're a wunderkind with a great job, real estate in your own name, it's not like you're going to qualify for a US tourist visa anyway. It's called having sufficient ties to your home country. In all likelihood the USCIS would see you as an overstay risk and deny you the visa, especially if you tell them you're traveling to see a boyfriend. This guy has no intention of marrying you and is trying to lure you to his house for different reasons entirely. The good news is that you can just tell him you could get the visa. 28 male, 27 male, 30 female. My best friend confessed feelings to my girlfriend. She wants to cut him out of our life. Update: it's done. My best friend is out of my life. I had a conversation with him where he said he would never have asked her to cheat on me, but he just wanted to get it out of his system. Apparently he has been nursing a crush on her since we started dating, and that's why he has not even tried to date anyone else. I told him that he couldn't control his feelings, but he should have controlled his actions and kept it to himself. Then I blocked him. My girlfriend on the other hand is really weirded out by his confession. Anyways, that is my update. Also, I have a new best friend, my girlfriend lol. First post. She's probably weirded out because she considered him an actual friend. Wouldn't be surprised if she's feeling a sense of betrayal and anger. While also thinking she somehow caused this. She didn't. Crushes are normal enough. He shouldn't have confessed. He could have moved on without needing to tell her. Let alone doing it behind your back. You now understand how he's full of it about the no interest in acting on it, right? Especially with admitting he hasn't been with anyone else cause his crush. You missed a golden opportunity to keep that to yourself, dude. I commend your taking the steps you did. Edit. Spelling, usage. You have made the right decision. He had a crush and wouldn't date anyone because of it. Does that sound like a guy who isn't holding out hope that his crush will love him back? If he wanted to let it out, he could have told you his best friend or a therapist, but he chose to tell your girlfriend. He's full horse poop, good riddance. He doesn't even have enough respect for you to be honest. His actions show he wanted to see if she would cheat or leave you for him. F 29. Told husband, M 39. I am leaving and he's finally acting right. We have been married for 8 years. Which, yes, means I was 20 and he was 29. I actually was 19 when we met. A mutual friend introduced us and lied about the age difference. When we found out there was a gap, it was too late and already in love. I became pregnant 4 months in and we have a 7-year-old who is my delight. The yelling and blaming started just a few weeks into our relationship. I have story after story of him going just feral. Years and years and years of this man going off without rhyme or reason. The most minuscule being I cut a few trees down in Animal Crossing without his permission. The biggest is a missed house mortgage payment. I was blamed and reprimanded for both and everything in between. Anything under the sun has set this man off. He's yelled at every holiday and birthday and trip we have taken. I have been doing research for years now about narcissists and he fits the role very well. Handsome and charismatic up front but a scary, mean man behind closed doors. 2 years ago, September 22, 21. After he yelled at me about not being more enthusiastic about sex, I told him that if the yelling and manipulation doesn't stop, I am leaving. He got better. Then didn't. So I told him a second time. This stops or I am leaving. He stopped. For a week. We recently moved across the country, something we wanted to do and have planned on. Literally the night before we are supposed to leave, he picks a huge fight with me. I told him I wasn't going to move and somehow he convinced me to go. TBH, I like the state we are in now. I am happy for a fresh start. To my surprise he didn't stop. Christmas Eve he worked until 4, got home around 5-ish. My son and I had the house all set up, steak dinner and cookies baking. The vibe is nice. Husband gets home and we greet him, but he needs to look at the bank account real quick. One thing leads to another and he's yelling and berating me again. And I just snapped. I have been completely broken and checked out emotionally from this marriage. I told him I'm done and moving out. He cried. And apologized. I don't believe him anymore. I feel like he's faking it again, so we go back to normal again. This life is easy for him. I do everything: childcare, household and hold a part-time job. He works full-time and spends about 2-3 hours a day at the gym. I don't have a gym membership and that I'm bitter about. In my head I'm thinking, I can do all of this myself. And if it's just me and our son, there's no one to yell. All in all, I'm having a hard time trusting my own judgment. It's emotional and mental abuse, neglect and toxic. I need to get out for my sake and mostly for the sake of our son. I hope it's not too late. Hey, you're with an abusive man. They will always be so charming when called out or if you threaten to leave. He's not going to change. I left for my boys. I didn't have the right to raise boys who believed it was okay to treat a woman as I was being treated. You're raising a boy to become an abusive man. Not okay. I know the cycle. Yelling, berating and calling you names. You lay down a line in the sand and it gets better until it slowly but surely begins again and it's worse. My ex didn't come after me physically until after the divorce. I got inside and locked the door and called police. You need to leave. For your son. For yourself. Be careful. Leaving is the most dangerous time. I'm happy to listen if you want to message me. You describe a cycle of abuse. Yes, you should leave him. Don't negotiate. In fact, don't even pre-announce it. Make your plans secretly and then go. Consult a divorce lawyer on the sly. He's had chances to reverse course, and he isn't able to maintain the changes he would need to make. Hun, it isn't going to get better. It's not going to stop cause he sees that you'll continue to give him more chances in the future if you stay. I hope you take your into consideration over this and think of the how she's going to grow up thinking it's okay for anyone to act like this. In my head I'm thinking, I can do all of this myself, and if it's just me and our son, there's no one to yell. What does he bring to the table except stress and anxiety? Sounds like you'd be 100% better off without him. So he only changes long enough for his life to go back to the way he likes it? Do you realize your son will behave exactly like his dad or will end up getting treated like you? Instead of telling him again, make your exit plan, serve him papers, and live your best life. 36F, found my husband, 37M, secret Reddit account. My husband, 37M, and I, 36F, have been together for 12 years, married almost 6, and have a 2-year-old son. My husband has always been very closed off emotionally, but this fall I felt like he was unusually quiet. I kept pressing him, asking what was wrong, to the point where I felt myself becoming annoying, but I knew he just wasn't himself. He would just say he was feeling a little depressed and tired of the monotony of work, etc. After Christmas, I asked if he would consider couples counseling. I am a therapy regular. He has never done it, it's frowned upon in his family culture. Just to help him open up to me, to which he stated it wasn't necessary and we don't have communication issues. A little background on my husband: his father died when he was 21 before I was in the picture. His mother died in 2019. His sister is much younger than him and not part of his life as much as he wishes she was. His extended family all lives far or doesn't really bother with him since his parents died. Basically my family is his only family. He feels very alone in this world and I understand that. Now to the issue at hand. I was using his phone and he got a Reddit notification for an account I never heard of. So I searched the account from my phone and found that my husband was making posts from September 11 to November 27, basically seeking a text buddy to break up the mundane. It seemed like he was just seeking friendship until I got to a few posts asking for a not safe for work text buddy to exchange pics and sext with. And I feel like I could almost even get over that part, but he was specifically seeking someone local with the chance to maybe meet down the line. Of course I confronted him immediately and he didn't try to deny anything. He said he was just feeling really down about himself and needed someone to talk to. Since most of our friends and family are mine, he doesn't have a safe space to vent about me or certain things he doesn't want to talk to me about. That he forgot he even made those posts, nobody ever replied, and he never chatted with anyone, and I believe him. He showed me his phone. I just can't get past the feeling of what if someone had replied and they made a connection? Can I get past this? Should I? I told him couples counseling is non-negotiable now and he agreed. However, now I can tell he is so sad, probably for getting caught. He says he feels pathetic and embarrassed and ashamed. And now I feel guilty that he's depressed over a situation he created for himself. However, now I can tell he is so sad, probably for getting caught. He says he feels pathetic and embarrassed and ashamed. And now I feel guilty that he's depressed over a situation he created for himself. That's how he's supposed to feel. Instead of joining a bowling league or picking up a hobby, he was looking for a stranger to have sex with. Never feel guilty for something you didn't do. Remember, if he wasn't trying to fuck strangers, he wouldn't feel pathetic, embarrassed, and ashamed. He did this, not you. In fact, instead of feeling guilty, you should feel proud and fortunate that you stumbled upon this situation before he could act on it. You have options, like potentially saving a marriage and getting your husband help, unlike countless other spouses who found out too late. You have no reason to feel guilty. This would have gone somewhere if you did not look. I told him couples counseling is non-negotiable now and he agreed. I think this is the right approach. Clearly there are issues that need to be resolved between the two of you. An outside facilitator can help. I would want him to explain exactly why this new text buddy has to be a woman, why it has to involve pics and sexting, and why he wants to eventually meet up with her. Those are all arrangements towards cheating, not arrangements to find a friend he can vent to. I have no idea why you would feel guilty for busting your husband's attempts to cheat on you. If I were in your situation, I feel like this was a breach of trust and would expect transparency with chats, social media, passwords, etc. Definitely seek counseling together. Not something I'd divorce my husband over, but he'd need to work to regain my trust. Yeah, my parents died too and I didn't run out and look for a sexting buddy. Don't give in to the temptation to try and fix everything for your husband. He needs to go to therapy and he needs to be honest about stuff. If he's feeling depressed, pent up, bored with the routine, you all need to talk about that and address it. It doesn't excuse what he did. But he may have some valid feelings that aren't being dealt with. He needs to take responsibility and learn to deal with them in a healthy way. Healthy: take up a hobby, get a sitter and go away for a night with you. Not healthy: be yet another perv on Reddit looking to sext.